Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 8 of the Kona 2 podcast. I'm joined this week by just Braden, but we're not complaining. Braden is going to bring up the slack for Dakota missing tonight's show. How are you doing tonight, Braden?
You remember what episode it
I
was?
did. It's episode 8. You must be so proud
Episode
of me.
8. Already. Damn, that's crazy.
I know. Episode 8 and we're still kicking.
Oh, I'm
And
doing pretty good.
we've got a special show tonight. We have a lot of things to talk about, but it's a special show. We are going to be going over the Eastern States Stock Car Series Season 1 awards. So I'm
First thing off, we're going right now.
oh yeah. We're gonna start it off strong with the awards. I went through the survey that I put out and looked at everyone's votes and put up the percentages of how much the winners won. And then I also looked at the stats for two of the awards, so the actual stats. So,
Okay.
we had a really good season overall. I know Kona 2 was kind of up and down. We obviously won the championship and won a few races thanks to Robbie and you and Dakota. But overall, a really good season, and I'm glad that we are starting up this Friday. If you are
I am pretty excited for that.
looking for something to do on Friday nights after Gnarl, ESSCS Season 2 is about to kick off. We've got a great, not rebrand, but the logos and the graphics are all going to look new and
Just a fresh look.
Just a fresh look. So,
Nice and fresh.
we're going to start off the awards with the race of the season. Braden, if you had to guess, what would the
Race of the
season be?
season. Oh well, I mean, all these young kids out here, all this buzz around this Iowa race. Personally, I don't agree.
Okay.
I would have to go with Pocono.
Did you vote for
Pocono
Pocono?
would be. I did.
Yeah.
I did. I
Let
sure
me,
did. I'm pretty sure I'm probably the only one that voted for Pocono. I was to
Let me
guess.
pull up the survey, and I will look and see
This will actually be interesting to look at.
what came in second place for some of these. So, obviously, the winner is race 14 of 14. Iowa Speedway won the Best Race of the Season award.
How many votes?
38.5% of the votes went to Iowa.
Oh wow, it was actually pretty split, huh? Damn.
So, there were 14 responses to the survey total. Iowa got 5 votes. In second place is Talladega. 23.1% of people voted for Talladega. That's actually kind of shocking.
That is extremely
Yeah.
shocking. What the
So
not like what?
then everything else is tied. So
So it's just people probably voting for like
Yes.
races they thought they did good in, huh?
Elko, North Wilkesboro, Pocono, Watkins Glen, and Toledo were all voted for. They all tied
Excuse
with
me?
one vote.
North Wilkesboro?
Look, I thought North Wilkesboro was actually a pretty good race. It was just the driving etiquette was really bad.
Elko's interesting.
This is not an award, but the worst race of the season is tied between North Wilkesboro and Elko.
Elko, yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that it's even a tie is crazy.
Yeah. So then, in second place is another tie between Mid-Ohio and Daytona. And then Springfield, Pocono, and La Crosse were all voted as the worst race of the season as well. So,
That's Springfield. What?
yeah. I guess someone really didn't like
Odd.
the
Odd.
dirt track. So, moving on. The strongest team award with 71.4% of the votes is Kona 2 Racing.
All right. There we go.
Yeah, so we got voted. 10 out of 14 people voted for Kona 2 Racing.
Beautiful.
Um,
Beautiful.
Then you also have Soda City Racing, so Kez's team, Lapped Car Enterprises, I'm not sure who owns that team off the top of my head. Um, McBasketball Enterprises, so, uh, God, blanking on the name, Tristan's team, and then just other.
Who's that
So
guy?
I don't know, some competitor who just started up a rival podcast. So
Never heard of that guy.
never heard of that.
Who is that?
So then other. So just I believe Trey Kinsey voted for himself. So I think that's what that is. So yeah, Kona 2 Racing wins the strongest team award, 71.4% of the votes. Moving on to Driver of the Season award. Any guesses on who you think was the driver of the season?
This is actually going to be really interesting. I voted Robbie.
Okay. So, I will say who got voted for. Jort Vieira was voted for.
Ah, right.
Chase
Okay.
Severs was voted for, shockingly.
He voted for himself. He voted for himself.
Who drove the 70? Jerry Cook, I believe, drove the 70. Jerry was voted
70.
for in a one-off, so that's interesting. Kez was voted for, 1 vote. Trey Kinsey voted for himself, so 1 vote for him. Dakota Vega got 3 votes. And the winner of the Driver of the Season award with 46.2% of the votes, Robbie Gilvin.
Robbie Gilvin. Yeah.
Robbie didn't race full-time due to some real-life scheduling conflicts with the season. But not every start, but almost every start, I think besides Talladega, he won. So, great season for him, honestly. I think he got 3 wins. So, he won Elko, and he won Iowa, and he won Toledo. There might be some other track in there I'm forgetting, but great season for Robbie. So, this next award is the Most Popular Driver Award. Obviously, in the real world, Chase Elliott dominates this award. But in Essex, it's actually a little more split. There were a lot of votes. Zach Hillier got a vote. Trey Kinsey got a vote. Speed and Sam got votes. Trey Kinsey actually got 2 votes. So, second place for Trey Kinsey. Ryan Severs got a vote. Crystal Bennett got a vote. Kez Hiller got a vote. Dakota Vega also got a vote. I got 2 votes, so I'm tied for second with Trey. And the Most Popular Driver Award winner, with 23.1% of the votes, 3 votes total, Braden Corioth.
Thank you. Thank you.
Corioth.
Thank you so much.
So, Braden, how do you feel about winning the Most Popular Driver Award?
I gotta say, first person I gotta say thank you is my team owner, Connor Spradling.
You're welcome.
Kona 2 has done so much for me. And, of course, I gotta thank my partners, Mountain Dew, Dodge, PepsiCo as a whole.
Yep.
And, of course, I gotta thank my parents for bringing me onto this great earth for me to play NR2003.
It's a thrilling life.
I mean, absolutely thrilling. On these Friday nights, you come out here and you work so hard. And this season was definitely a tough one for me, but it's good to know that people appreciate what I do out here. It's good to know that people think highly of me and somewhat. Thank you.
You're welcome, and thank you for saying those very kind words. You've been a vital part of our team since the beginning, since the offline LRCS days. So, you've stuck through it. I know this season was a rough one, but we'll come back. Season 2 is going to be a good season.
I hope so.
I hope so too.
I hope so.
So, I will bunch these 2 awards together because the same person won both of them. So, the Most Improved Driver Award and the Underdog Award. With 41.7% of the votes, Chase Severs won both awards.
Yep, saw that coming.
So, Chase Severs wins the Most Improved Driver, and Chase also wins the Underdog Award. So,
the kid deserves it.
He does. Chase, he's got quite a personality. He he
Quite a personality.
he can be he can be a lot to deal with post
He's
race
something.
sometimes. He's a
He's something.
character. If you haven't met Chase Severs, um, reach out to the kid. He's a good kid. But he honestly he had a really good season. He was in contention to win his first ever career race multiple times. Obviously, Gateway comes to mind. That was a really good race for him. He ran pretty well at Iowa for a while, and he ended up finishing sixth in the final season standings. So, honestly, really good season for him. He deserves it. I'm proud of him. So,
Like I said, you gotta feel good for the kid. You have to feel good for the
yeah.
kid.
So, in second place for this for the most improved driver award was Samuel Hampton and Speed Miles. They both tied. So,
I like that.
Speed also won second place for the Underdog Award. So, yeah, Speed and Sam.
I think we'll be seeing a lot from those two next season.
I think so too. They definitely back marker is kind of used as like a bad term, but they really are the midfield back markers. But if you look at how they ran this season, they consistently got better, and they were consistent. Besides Sam having a weird stretch of DNFs that weren't really his fault, it was just the game messing with him.
Those two finished more races than me.
Yeah. So, all right, Rookie of the Year award. This is the first award that was not voted on. This is purely based on stats. It goes to Samuel Hampton, finishing a very respectful 8th in the season standings. He just said ran really well, was really consistent. He was just slightly better than Speed. So, yeah, like you said, I think we're gonna see a lot out of that 78 car this season.
I mean, who isn't excited for next season as a whole? I mean,
I'm
we're
excited.
gonna be doing things. We're gonna be things no one's ever done before.
We've got a good schedule. We've got honestly a big group of rookies. We'll go over that more when we get to the season 2 debrief. But yeah, it's going to be a good season. I'm excited. So the final award of the night is the Best Manufacturer Award. So this had 5 contenders in terms of wins. We had a couple other manufacturers come in. We had Hyundai make a couple starts with Soda City. And there might be a couple other ones that I can't remember right now. But in terms of wins, Chrysler, Chevrolet, and Honda all tied with 1 win. In second place, Ford.
Oh, so we're basing this off wins.
Off wins. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
So Ford won 5 races. They honestly, I didn't realize that Ford won as many races as they did. They won a lot of races. 5 races were won by a Ford.
5?
Yes.
Well, wait. Well, you got Jort. Jort was definitely a chunk of that.
2. And then
that's still interesting, though.
Victor Delgado won 2.
Okay.
And Josh Mercurio won North Wilkesboro.
Okay.
I think he's in a Ford, if I'm remembering correctly. But even if it wasn't him, 5 wins for Ford. So I didn't realize they won as many races as they did, but 5 wins. So the Best Manufacturer Award goes to Dodge with 6 wins and the championship.
All right, there we go. Only 6?
6 wins. So,
wow.
Yeah. Not as dominant as you'd expect. When I was going through who won what, Ford was actually leading for a while. It was like 4-2. And then as I got to the early season with Toledo and Michigan and Kansas, Dodge eventually took the lead and ended up winning the championship with Dakota Vega. So those are the awards for Season 1. Not a lot of awards, but a pretty decent amount. We'll see if I end up adding more for season 2. But this is something for you to fight for. Obviously, we give out a cash prize at the end of every season, but the awards are just kind of like bragging rights. So if you want to be known as the most improved driver or the most popular driver, get your name out there. And Braden, you embraced the Dark Knight persona, so people were aware of who you were in the league. So I think that definitely played into you winning that award because out of everyone, you
I
had a
think there's
good
a whole lot more than
personality.
that. There's a lot of things I do out there that I feel like people appreciate. Okay.
Yeah, you are a good personality. So I think it's very
I mean, I
deserving
think
for you
about
to
all the
win that
charity
award.
campaigns I ran this year.
Yeah,
We did a
that's
lot of
right.
good things for kids.
That's right. We ran a lot of charity events. So yeah, that's very very
There's
exciting.
a lot of single mothers out there.
Yeah, a
A
lot of
lot of
single
single mothers. People
mothers.
need to appreciate that. A lot of single mothers.
Yeah. So
I feel like we did a lot this year to help out the community.
that's right. So congratulations again to Iowa Speedway, Kona 2 Racing, Robbie Gilvin, Braden Corioth, Chase Severs, Samuel Hampton, and Dodge for being the award winners for Season 1. Moving on to Essex Season 2. This is, like we said a little earlier in the show, something that we are both very excited for. We've gone over the schedule. It's a good one. I really like it. There's a
Think we go over it one more time for the fans?
We'll go over it one more time for the fans and the drivers who are getting ready in their shops, getting their race cars fine tuned for
And
Michigan.
real quick, speaking of the drivers, I really appreciate the drivers who watch this show.
Yeah, we have a dedicated following.
I want
Not a
to
big
go
one,
ahead
but
and just thank the people that do watch this show. For every single one of you goddamn people, thank you for
yeah,
watching this show.
thank you.
Especially the drivers.
Especially the drivers. We wouldn't
Especially the goddamn drivers. You people are great.
we
Great
wouldn't
goddamn human beings.
we wouldn't be doing this show if it wasn't for the drivers. So thank you to the
There are
drivers.
people out there who appreciate you, okay?
So
I'm one of them, all right?
we will go through the schedule one last time. Obviously, kicking off season 2 at Michigan International Speedway. This is the same Michigan that we used last time, but we're using a different physics, so it's going to be different. Different setup than last time too. Last time we used Expert. Switching to Cup Physics, Expert was a little too on edge, I thought, for the talent level that we have, so we are switching to Fast. It's going to be
Going back to fast.
Going
All
back
right.
to
I was really
fast.
expecting the expert.
I was too, but I've done a lot of testing with Fast, and I think it's going to put on some good racing. Still hitting really fast speeds. We're topping out 210, so it's going to be good old-fashioned high horsepower
210.
Michigan. So we head out to Phoenix for the one special West Coast race this season. The setup has not been decided for this one yet, but Phoenix, and the few races I've done on it in league racing and just video games, NASCAR video games, it usually puts on pretty good racing, so we'll see what happens. Then another new track, Dover, using Fast for this one. This is obviously a 1 mile speedway, very similar to Bristol, but a lot bigger. So this specific version of Dover has 3 lanes, so it's gonna be fun to see how we drive this track. I think we're gonna see a lot of passing, and a lot of issues. People don't give Dover the credit that it deserves.
Controversy. That's what we're going to see. We're going to see controversy. We're going to see some good old fashioned heads button.
So starting off strong with 3 pretty good tracks, then we head to Daytona for the first super speedway race of the season.
We need to get like a little tune for that. Just mentioning the name Daytona. We need like a little like a I don't even know. Like, do we need a soundboard? That's what we need.
A soundboard for Daytona.
Whenever someone makes a shitty joke, you just put like a drum roll.
Yeah.
Or just something stupid like that.
I could do something like that.
You gotta be like some corny like DJ or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'll look into that for next week's show. So then we head to our next intermediate cookie cutter track at Kansas. Kansas put on a great race last season. We saw three
Very
wide
good
racing.
racing.
We saw Dakota Vega get his one and only win that season, but it was a win that kicked off his championship winning run. Excuse me. Then we head to Salem Speedway for the first real short track. Phoenix is a little unique, so it's not really a short track, but it is depending on who you ask.
I like to consider it a short track.
It's a
I think it's a
unique short
nice.
track. So kind of like I say Iowa's a unique short track, but it's a short track. But Salem's our first true short track oval. Then we head to the first road course race. This is one I know you're not looking forward to, Braden. We head to Watkins
Okay,
Glen
come on. Just
International.
I'm working on it. All right.
I know you are. But
Maybe
Watkins
the
Glen,
Cup give me some momentum. Hey, I'm good. Hey, any gnarl road course I've ever run, I've
you've
done
done
pretty
well.
decent.
So, yeah, I think we'll see. Honestly, Cup is. You can be a lot more aggressive with Cup, the way you drive the car. Um, and I think that will transfer over to some better racing for the road
I really
courses.
think we're gonna just. I mean, the season's just gonna be completely flipped on its head.
It is. I don't even know what to expect. Then we head to the second special event. I'm considering Phoenix special since it's a West Coast race. But we head to the All-Star race. This is a cash winning race. You will win cash for this one. I'm not sure how much yet, but it is going to be a significant amount of money at Atlanta Motor Speedway. This is going to kind of be our testing ground for tracks that we think deserve to be on a future schedule. So Atlanta is the first race that we will be trying that out with.
Really interesting that that's not on the schedule. I'm just gonna
It
just gonna
deserves a
comment on that.
spot. It deserves a spot. It was a track that I pushed for along with Charlotte, but it ended up not making the cut. So it will be the All-Star race
That's
this
fine.
season.
Yeah, I can respect it.
Put on great racing in kart. Put on great racing in Gnarl. So we'll see more great racing for the All-Star race in Essex. Then we're heading to Talladega, and then another short track with Toledo, and then a dirt race. We're going back to Springfield. Put on great short track dirt racing last season, so I'm excited to see that one back. Then we're heading to our next cookie cutter intermediate at Chicagoland. This is the last one of the season. This is a new track to the schedule. We did not race there in season 1. I don't think it ever made it to kart either. I could be wrong. But Score has raced at Chicagoland. Kona 2 has ran at Chicagoland. That was a wild race. I was in the catch
Oh,
fence, but
that was a classic.
Braden ran
That
well.
was a classic right there.
I think Chase Severs made a start that same race for us. He ran pretty decent. So yeah, I don't know what to expect for this one. My first start in Cars Truck Series was actually at Chicagoland, and I ran top 20. So I don't know what to expect. That was like 2 years ago. Then we head to the final road course of the season at Mid-Ohio. This will be a different Mid-Ohio than last season, but we're heading back to Mid-Ohio. Then we kick off the final 2 races with 2 short tracks, with the first being North Wilkesboro. I know you weren't a huge fan of that one, but I thought it put on pretty good racing.
Well, if I want to be a good driver, I just I just gotta deal with it.
Yeah.
So it's whatever.
So we're heading back to North Wilkesboro for the penultimate race of the season, and then the final race is back at Iowa. Iowa obviously won the Best Race Award, and yeah, it was a good one. Unfortunately, Braden didn't get to race it, but you got to watch it. So I think this is one everyone can be excited for. So great schedule. Let's take a look at the roster. Take a look at the new drivers. Cameron McElrath for What the Racing and the '03 car is new to the series.
Could you try and say that one more time?
Cameron McElrath? McElreath? I'm not
You
sure.
sound like just so.
I'm
I
confused
don't
by
even
that
know.
one. So Nico Speed for LS Racing is also a rookie in the 5 car. Then we have Keon Namdarian, um, independent driver, is also a rookie. Abby Powell is another rookie. They are driving the 14 and the
Wow,
15
a lot
respectively.
of drivers. Jeez.
Yes. Um, Jonathan Giacherri for Rivals Racing Team is a rookie. Ethan Mingolelli for Ethan Enterprises is also a rookie. Noah Gray in the 40 car is also new to the series. Colby
Heard that name
Brown
before.
is a rookie. And Hudson Davis is also a rookie. And the newest addition to this list is Anthony Brown in the 70 car for Rust Bucket Racing. They will also be a
Anthony
rookie
Brown.
this season. So a lot of rookies, a lot of people are going to be gunning for the Rookie of the Year award. So I think it's going to be interesting to watch. I'm definitely intrigued by this rookie class. Nico Speed has been putting in a lot of practice at Michigan. They don't stop talking about it in general. So we'll see how they run. I've never heard of them before. So Cameron McElrath has kind of been MIA. They uploaded their car recently, so they will be attending. And then a lot of these other rookies, no idea. But Anthony Brown is a returnee from the kart days. So that's
Oh
going to be
yeah, that's a
fun.
name that people are gonna know for
That's a
sure.
name people know. So they are racing for Rust Bucket. So Rust Bucket is going to be a 3-car team this year. Chase has really grown that team into something. And I think that we're going to see some serious speed out of Anthony Brown. I don't remember exactly how they ran in kart, but I know they were fairly competitive. So what do you think, Braden? Is there a chance we see Rust Bucket get their first win this season?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. They kind of pulled an us move with that,
Yeah.
if
I
you get what
mean,
I mean.
look, I think it's definitely possible. Um, Looking at who voted to get their first win next season, Kez Hiller's dominating this survey. 57.1% of the votes, 8 out of 14 people think Kez is going to get their first win. 2 people think Chase is going to get their first win. And then
I think I might have been one of those people. Or no, wait.
I think I was
Who did I
too.
vote for? I think I voted for Hampton.
Yeah, Samuel's on here, and so is Crystal Bennett. And then 2 people voted other, so we will never know what they think. But yeah, there's definitely a chance that we see Russ Bucket get their first win, and they deserve it. I think Speed Miles has shown pretty good speed. We talked about him earlier in the show, and yeah, it's becoming a pretty good team. I think we'll see good stuff out of them. But yeah, we're heading to Michigan. It's going to be an interesting race. I think we're going to see, based on last season, I mean, we saw Kez dominate the race, have internet issues with like 10 to go, and you came in and swept the win right out from under him. So,
Anyways, come on, we don't gotta put the asterisks on the win, okay?
I'm just saying how it
I've
happened.
worked hard enough for the win. I've worked hard enough for it.
But yeah, we saw Kona 2 Racing run really well. Kez ran really well, so they will definitely be a force to reckon with. It's gonna be a good race, and it's gonna be a good season. Do you have any predictions for season 2? Do you think we're gonna see as many different winners as season 1? We had a few repeat winners. We
I
had
think we're gonna see more.
more winners.
I think we're gonna see more.
We saw
Well, how many winners were there this year?
so Robbie won multiple times. So did Victor. So that's 2. Braden,
Right.
Dakota, Jort. What else? Who else won? Ace, Josh. I'm at 7. I think there were more than that. But yeah, at least 7. So you think we'll see more unique winners?
It matters on who races, but I do. I
Let's,
think so.
for the record, right now, there are no provisionals for Michigan. There are 15 people saying they're going to attend, not counting
Oh, and
you.
it's
So
still only Wednesday.
that's 16 counting you. So here's
Yeah, I
here's
never
the
respond
entry
to that
list.
stuff.
Here's the entry list. Braden Koryoth, Alexander Brown, Connor Spradling, so myself, Crystal Bennett, Lexi Herman, Phil Parker, Buddy Campos, Samuel
Oh,
Hampton.
Lexi Herman.
Lexi is going to, I guess, try to attend. Samuel Hampton, Cam Smith, Jort Vier, Ryan Severs, Speed Miles, Chase Severs, Nico Speed, Dakota Vega, and Kez. So that's 16 on the entry list. We got, I think, like 6 or 7 for season 1. So almost, actually, over double season 1's entry list.
You sure?
I believe so. I
Thought we
believe
had at
so.
least 10 last year,
I
or
don't think
what?
it was exactly 10. I think it was just under 10. So it's looking like it's going to be a big field, at least for our standards, on a big track. So see what happens. We did have some people sign up who haven't said that they're going to make it yet. Chase Clyde attempted to sign up. Abby Powell, Colby Brown, Dallas Shake, Hudson Davis, a few other people. So we'll see if they end up showing up. I think it's very likely that we see 20 people show up, if not more, for Michigan.
I'd
So
say so as well.
that's going to be interesting, and it's going to give us pretty good momentum heading into
Sounds
Phoenix.
like it's going to be some good racing to me,
Sounds
boy.
like it's going to be some good racing.
Hell yeah, brother.
So, do you have anything else to say about season 2? Any predictions?
I don't think so.
Any bold claims?
Any bold claims? I might finish more than 5 races.
Oh yeah, that's a bold claim.
Oh yeah.
It's
Okay. Well, hold on. You son of a bitch.
I'm just saying.
You sneaky little son of a bitch.
Okay, so here's a question. Based on last season, so not counting any of the new drivers, who is your way too early championship pick?
It matters on how many times Robbie races, but I really think Robbie could come in and do what he did in season 6 and just dominate.
That's true. We know that he has some scheduling issues with his band, so there's a chance he doesn't attend full time. I think, based on how he ran in season 1, yes, he did get a top 10 points finish. So it's feasible that he could make a run at the championship. It just really depends on how many races he attends. I think if I had to pick right now, as much as I'd love to pick Dakota because he drives for us and Dakota had such a good season, I think I'm going to have to go with Kez.
Yep.
I think
Yep. Definitely Kez.
Kez is the championship favorite. Not just because it's their league, but I mean just based on how they ran. They ran so well all season long. The only time I can remember that they didn't run well was Toledo, and that's because they messed up their steering ratio on accident. They ended up like 6 laps down, so I think Kez is easily the championship favorite. Just think for the season 1 standings, if Kez didn't have that steering issue at Toledo, how would that factor into the championship? Because, they lost by 4 points. would have been interesting to see. But
It's just how the cookie crumbles.
yeah,
That's all I got to say.
I think they are easily the championship favorite. My next pick would probably be Dakota. Um, Based on how you ran in kart, I'd throw you up there in that bag. Um, Ace isn't here anymore, so you can mark Ace off that list. Um, yeah, we have a few definite front runners for the championship, but it really depends on who races, how often they race, and how well they finish. So we'll see what happens, but it's going to be a good season. Moving on to Gnarl, I'll make this brief because I was the only one who raced Myrtle Beach in Gnarl. It was
Give us the rundown.
It was honestly a pretty good race. There were some moments where driver etiquette went out the window. I will be one to say that I was one of those drivers on the
Uh-oh.
I don't think it was the final restart, but it was like the second to last restart. I drove through someone. I don't remember who, but I drove through someone, and
You
really
don't remember. What a villain.
from there, I had a really bad finish. What happened was I was running top 5 all night long. The only time I wasn't, I was like 6th or 7th. And I tried to play the strategy because it's Gnarl. I knew there was going to be another caution. I tried to pit early, and it screwed me over. I ended up coming out like 25th or something like that, and got stuck there because had a caution and I was involved in it. And then there was another caution not too long after that. And when I really needed it, the point of no return happened. So I ended up not finishing as well as I'd like to. I ended up finishing, I don't know. I didn't write it down. I think it was 12th, if I have to guess. I think it was 12th. So I think it was a top 15 finish. But yeah, it just kind of sucks that it ended the way it did. But it was a good race overall. I ran really well. It was a pretty decent showing for Kona 2. Next, I think, is New Hampshire. So do you plan on attending New Hampshire?
I do not know.
Okay. Obviously,
I'm gonna be
after Gnarl this week is the Season 2 debut of Essex. So back to our regularly scheduled racing. But yeah, it was a decent race. I wish it finished the way I wanted it to, but that's racing. Things happen. But yeah. Moving on to the real world. We saw the most disappointing day in racing this week. Kyle Larson attempted the double, but it was all kinds of messed up. It was delayed, and then the big talking point this week has been that Rick Hendrick and Kyle Larson and the Hendrick group decided that he was going to stay in Indianapolis instead of go to Charlotte. How do you feel about that? Because I have my opinion on it.
How do I feel about so you want me to ask me how I feel about Kyle Larson?
Do you think Kyle Larson should have stayed in Indy for the 500, or should he have called it and gone to Charlotte to run the
I saw Joey Logano say some really dumb stuff today. He said that he shouldn't get the playoff thing because he chose the Indy 500 over the Coca-Cola 600. Like, come on. It's the biggest race on the planet.
Yeah, that's
10 times out of 10, I'm staying there. If I'm Kyle Larson, I'm running the Indianapolis 500.
That's exactly how I feel about it, because it's been a very big split in the fan base about.
Let me be honest. Let me be completely honest here.
All right, be honest.
People say the greatest day in racing. You have Monaco Indy 500.
Yep.
The Coke 600 doesn't even come up to half of what those races are. The Coke 600 is a NASCAR thing.
Yeah.
The only thing that NASCAR has that's like a big thing is the 500. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
The Daytona 500 is all they got. the Coke 600 is like it's a legendary thing to NASCAR.
Yep, it is.
But anything else? No.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it's a crown jewel, but
It's
it's a
to me it's the
NASCAR
second
crown
biggest
jewel.
race of the year.
It is.
It's the second biggest race of the season.
It
but it's a
is.
NASCAR crown
But
jewel. It's not like something that everyone in America is going to be talking about.
Maybe 20 years ago, but these days I don't think so. You still obviously Charlotte sold out, so that's great, but Charlotte doesn't pull the crowd that Indy does, not by numbers, but just the general audience, just regular people attend the 500. If you ask some random person on the street, "Oh, are you going to the Coke 600 this year?" Probably not. The chances of them saying yes are very unlikely.
And then if you say like the Indy 500 or something, it'll at least spark up a conversation because like maybe they know what's going on.
They probably.
I
know
mean,
what's
people
going
literally
on.
just go there to drink.
Yeah, there's
you don't even have to watch a single second of racing in your life, and you'll be welcome there because you just drink and get wasted.
There's a much higher chance that you could ask a random person on the street if they're going to the 500 and they'd say yes. But so I'm in the boat of, and it seems like you are too. Of course, Kyle Larson's going to stay there, and I would too. It's
like it shouldn't even be a debate. It shouldn't even be like it shouldn't. It's just like yes, you're staying for the Indy 500. End of conversation.
To continue the debate, the playoff waiver is another big debate for some reason. A lot of people who usually seem like they're in the same boat of, oh, Kyle Larson picked IndyCar over NASCAR, think that he should not get the playoff waiver.
The people that say that are just weird sore losers. Don't even know.
So here's the thing about that: NASCAR seems like purposefully made the playoff waiver a bit of a gray area, in my opinion. Whereas
I think to me they've proved that it's like just a thing that they have to be a thing.
Yes.
They don't take it seriously. They don't actually enforce it. If you miss a race and you're a competitive driver with big sponsorship and a lot of people like you and you have a lot of fans, you're going to be in the playoffs no matter what.
Yeah. NASCAR would be stupid to not give him one. I think it might have been Eric Estep or one of the other NASCAR YouTubers put out a video today, I think, talking about how Kyle Larson's probably going to win, what did you say, 3 or 4 more races this year? So
I mean, with the rate with how fast he's been, absolutely.
At least one more race. Probably multiple more races. But every single time he wins, they would have to go on TV and on the radio and be like, now, remember, Kyle Larson didn't race this one race, so he's not playoff eligible, even though this is his 5th win this season.
Yeah, imagine.
Imagine. It's stupid. So, of course they're going to give him a playoff waiver. We've given out playoff waivers for dumber reasons. Like, we've given out waivers for suspensions. You messed up, but, we'll still let you do it.
Oh, Chase Elliott, you broke your leg skiing, and then you tried to kill someone at Charlotte. You're in the playoffs.
You're in the playoffs. You're good.
Well, they gave him a chance. Obviously, he didn't make it, but they gave him the chance.
But that leads me to my next point. Is that was one of the biggest storylines last year? Was can Chase Elliott make the playoffs? And if they didn't give him a waiver, there wouldn't have been that publicity. There wouldn't have been that storyline for NASCAR to capitalize on. So obviously, they're going to give him one. And if you think they aren't, or you think that they shouldn't, you're just wrong.
It's just no-brainer stuff.
You're just stupid. So that's the end of that debate because there's not much else to be said about it. Kyle Larson's going to get the waiver.
It's not a debate.
And
it's not even not a conversation.
So another big debate, big docking point this week has been they called the Coke 600 early due to weather. I've seen a lot of people in the media, including NASCAR Jesus Dale Earnhardt Jr., say that he's okay with that. I'm split on it. I think like we've said, this is NASCAR's second biggest race of the season. It's the Coke 600. It's a home race for basically everyone. I'm okay that they called it. It sucks that we didn't get to see the full 600 miles, but I know you were pretty heated on this topic Sunday night. So
Let me spit some game to the people. Let me teach the people.
Let's hear
All
it.
right, let me inform and educate the people
let's
here.
hear it. Go off.
Listen, it's the Coca-Cola 600. It's the second biggest race of the year. You literally it's just like
now, I will
the
say
next day.
I'm probably going to agree with you. I'm okay.
The
that
next
they called
day
it, but I
was
will probably
literally
agree
a
with you.
holiday.
It was.
The next day, most people aren't going to work. No one's going to school.
Yep.
And all of those people at the track, it was still sold out. After they waited for the rain, it was still packed.
It was
You
still
make them
packed.
wait all these hours for the rain, and then you're like, oh, nope, we're calling it. Even though not a single goddamn soul would have gave a single if they started that race at 3 o'clock in the goddamn morning.
Yep.
No one would have cared.
And the
It would have been the
precedent,
coolest thing ever.
the precedent has been set that we will race as late as we need to race to finish this. It was.
I mean,
Was
what
it
I think they've made the precedent that if they commit, they commit, and then this
Yeah.
time they committed, and then they just half-assed it,
So
and came up with the most bullshit excuse in the history of the sport.
So
the humidity is, giving us a hard time out here.
the rumor is that Fox called the race and NASCAR had to, they
I think
bent
that's a
over
bit of a
backwards
conspiracy.
for Fox.
If it is true, then that's just genuinely disgusting. But I think that's a bit of a conspiracy because I think
It
NASCAR is
is.
one of those sports where they won't let a partner like that have control of them. NASCAR has bigger balls than that.
You say that, but then we have stage racing. The whole point of stage racing was to give the TV window time for commercials.
Like, it wasn't the whole point.
It wasn't, but it kind of was. I see what you're saying, though. I do see what you're saying. I think NASCAR typically
Maybe I'm too much of a believer.
doesn't
I'm too
want
much
to
of a
be
believer,
pushed
maybe.
around. But
I think maybe I just think too much of NASCAR.
maybe. I mean, this is your bread and butter. Look at your Chase Elliott shrine. You live and you breathe and you bleed NASCAR. So I see what you're saying. I'm so split on it because, like I said, I'm okay that they called it, but I would have loved to see them finish it. I probably would have stayed up to watch it. Everyone at the track, like you said, probably would have. The teams were ready
I was
to
so
do
excited to stay up and watch it. I literally ordered myself Dunkin' Donuts and got me a big ass latte with
So-
with a bagel and some donuts.
it. So apparently, according to someone in the industry, I don't remember who it was that said this, NASCAR was ready to give the drivers the 15-minute call. Like, get to your cars. And then they called it before they told the drivers what was going on.
Yep.
Because they called it on TV before Christopher Bell even knew that he won. So I think that's
Could you
kind of where the
imagine
Fox thing
if
comes
Fox
in.
just made them go into the booth and say that without any NASCAR's official word? Could you imagine? And then NASCAR just couldn't do anything about it, and that's how
I
they
don't know.
bent their arm behind their back.
It's possible. I think that's more of a conspiracy than just
That's definitely
Fox
that's a crazy
calling
conspiracy.
it, but it's a possibility. So I don't know. It's definitely interesting. I wish we could have seen the full 600 miles. I know every driver wanted to see it. Obviously, Kyle Larson wanted to do it.
And it sucks. It sucks for Christopher Bell too. Like, he's never
It
going to
does.
think of that win as a real win.
No, he had a really good car, but I think you never know. But I think if we saw the whole 600 go, I don't think Christopher Bell was going to win. It was probably more likely going to be a Ford, in my opinion. More specifically, I think Brad Keselowski had the best car all night. But I don't know. It sucks for everyone. It sucks for TV. It sucks for the fans at the track. It sucks for the drivers. It sucks for the teams. And a lot of those teams are 15 minutes away from Charlotte. Like, if you're not going to run it in the middle of the night, just run it the next morning. I don't know. It's kind of dumb.
And another point I was thinking of to say earlier today. is that most of these guys in the backgrounds they come from, short track wise, they are like used to racing at like 4 in the morning.
Yeah,
It's
it's
happened to plenty of these guys before.
well, you saw I forget the name of the track, but a short track in Charlotte tweeted out either the next day or maybe the same night that they got hit by the same store and they waited it out and they kept racing later that night just to kind of you know give
Yeah,
a jab at
that's
Charlotte and
funny.
give a jab at NASCAR. I forget what the track's called, but I did see that and it's kind of funny. So yeah, that sucks, but we'll see it again next year, and apparently Kyle Larson's IndyCar deal is a 2-year deal, so there's a very good chance we'll see him attempt the double again next year, and maybe we'll actually get to see him do it. Um, Big news broke yesterday. Stewart-Haas Racing is officially closing. So
With the soundboard, this would be the part where you like do the sad violin music, and we sit here for a second in sulking silence.
yeah, moment of silence goes out to Stewart-Haas Racing. Uh, a powerhouse, used to be a powerhouse, is gone. So we've already seen the first bit of silly season come out of this. The Front Row Racing, Front Row Motorsports, bought a charter. Was never officially said to be a Stewart-Haas charter, but it definitely was. So there's a lot of speculation about where all these drivers are going to go. Um, I'm torn on Front Row. I think it could either be Custer and Gregson, or
Didn't it come out today that they brought one of the charters officially?
yes, that's. I don't know if I said it was officially, but yes, it was official. Front Row bought the charter, so they have 2 seats to fill. The 34, yeah, the 34 and probably the 38 or one of their numbers that they've ran before. Like I said, I'm torn on who I think will go there. I could see it be Custer and Gregson, or Custer and not Parise, Herbst.
After seeing some of these other Stewart-Haas drivers' performance, I think Cole Custer is now seen to be as a guy that was really underappreciated, which I think he was.
Yeah,
And I think Custer's going to get a really a big chance. He'll have a big comeback.
I think so too. I mean, we saw Custer in that car. He won a race in 2020, and after 2020, Stewart-Haas was not the same. So he really didn't have a chance. None of them did. The only driver who was worth watching at Stewart-Haas was Kevin Harvick, and even he had his struggles. So I think it's likely going to be Custer and Herbst go to Front Row. Um, I
Herbst, you think, to front
I
row?
think
Wow.
Herbst. I If not Herbst, then I think Gregson. But
Jeez.
apparently,
That's a big shot to take, man. Herbst
yeah,
he's still kind of like, not the most proven guy in Xfinity.
I know, but I could see it happen. I could see it happen. He's ran with Front Row before, ran really well. He's led laps in a Front Row Cup car, so
Oh, I guess he has, huh?
yeah,
That's right.
he has. So we'll see what happens with that. But speaking of Gregson, apparently there's a rumor going around that Richard Childress Racing wants to buy a charter. I'm struggling to talk tonight. A charter, and is interested in Gregson
Dodge coming back to
going ahead.
NASCAR confirmed.
Yeah, I guess a charger. So yeah, this I don't think is going to happen, and I don't want it to happen because RCR kind of sucks these days.
Yeah, RCR is just the new Roush, pretty much.
They have 2 cars right now, and one of them runs 30th every week, and the other one runs 25th every week. So I think Gregson deserves better than that. I don't think Gregson needs to be in a car that's going to run 25th.
That 10 team has been strong this year, man. It'd be really cool to see them win a race before they go.
It would, and I think it's likely that we do see that happen. He's run really well. He's with Briscoe. I think he and Briscoe have been the best cars for Stewart-Haas. So You never know, but
I think I've seen
I
Barry
hope they
more up
win.
front than Briscoe, I'm going to be honest.
That's true, but this leads to his future and Briscoe's future. Briscoe has been tied to the 21 car a lot the last few weeks. I could see that happening.
I really like Briscoe, and I really hope that doesn't happen.
You don't hope it. Okay, so why?
Well, I mean, dude, the 21 car, it's been proven ever since Trevor Bayne was in that damn thing. I mean, before that, actually, whenever Elliott Sadler drove it and it had that weird font.
Yeah,
I mean, ever since like the late 90s, the 90s in general, Wood Brothers has been a genuine, like, just a total joke. If they didn't win the 500, they would just be like totally laughed upon, which they already are, if I'm going to be completely honest.
yeah. I So everyone says this is a fourth Penske car, and I get that on paper it is. It's prepared by Penske. It's the only thing that doesn't make it a Penske car is the name and the shop it comes out of. But I think there's a good chance that Briscoe could make that a good car. I see what you're saying, and I
So
saw.
talented, man. I don't feel like I feel like that's just a team. Kyle Busch could be in that car and he would be like 30th every week.
Oh, that's true. I don't know. I think you have to give Matt DiBenedetto credit. He got that car into the playoffs. There's a
I think that car was just that fast when DiBenedetto went, is it? Because Jesus Christ, that was
DiBenedetto.
DiBenedetto. I think he was just so fast in that car because it was like that. I feel like that car was like really heavily Penske funded for a few years.
And apparently
You
it still
know,
is, but
that's just, dude. I mean, maybe. I mean, Penske itself has honestly kind of sucked, so it would make sense.
yeah, I mean, we talk about it every week. Penske just
Maybe Wood Brothers is
sucks.
just slow because Penske is.
Yeah. When was the last time you saw the two car do anything?
Oh man,
It's
don't
been
even get me started,
years
man.
since the two car did something.
That car has been rotting.
The 2 and the 21 suck. The 12 is decent, and the 22 is subpar.
Yeah, I
at
forgot the
best.
name of Blaney's crew chief, but those two, man, they're the only things keeping Penske afloat right now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because
So,
Logano is just, I mean, God. It is a shame that man won the
yeah.
championship for a second time. It is a shame.
So, unfortunately, I think the odd man out here is Ryan Preece. I don't think Ryan Preece is going to
I
get a
think he's just
cup
leaving
ride.
NASCAR, man. He's going to be like a modified driver or something.
Yeah, I think if he gets a cup, or not a cup ride, a NASCAR ride, it's going to be a truck ride. But I think it's more likely that he just kind of ditches. You know, he just hasn't shown the talent that he needs to get a cup ride. I know he was supposed to be Tony Stewart's little project, but Tony Stewart doesn't care about his team anymore. Tony Stewart doesn't care about
Nope.
NASCAR anymore, so he's too busy drag racing with his wife. So yeah, I think he's just gonna be gone. Barry, I don't know. Where do you think Barry goes? Because Barry's the one that I really just don't know.
See, that was another guy that Stewart really kind of gave a chance. But here's the thing, man. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is going to surprise someone, man.
You are on the Dale
God,
Jr.
dude.
To Cup train.
Cause, dude, it's just like it would be so awesome if
It
he had
would
a
be.
cup team.
It would be. I'm with you, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I really don't.
Well, I don't know where Barry would go, man. Maybe just back to JRM.
It's possible. I would they have an open seat for him? I don't know.
Well,
I think
I
Sammy's
guess.
good in the 8. Brandon Jones might be the one that is the odd one out. He hasn't really done much in the 9 car, so maybe he goes to the 9. I don't know.
I will see.
We'll see. I really really don't know. It's such a when you have a team this big close, the domino effect is just nuts. I don't know what's going to happen. Truly
And
don't.
listen, dude, I know I was sounding like a total downer, but like, it's gotta bum you out that Ganassi and Stewart-Haas are just gone.
Yeah,
They just they just vanished into thin air.
it does. It does suck. And you and I went back and forth about this for a bit because you think that it's bad for the sport. And I see where you're coming from with that when you have big
It's the
names.
only new team that has really been like a big like positive gain is Trackhouse.
Well, you got to put some credit on 2311.
I guess.
They've won multiple
I'll
races.
just always be a Gibbs Toyota hater. So
I get that. I get that. Um, so it's rumored that Trackhouse and 2311 are also going to get get charters. I think 2311's probably going to get Corey Heim in that car. I think
wow.
that's my
Oh,
prediction. I think
that's
Corey Heim
scary to
goes
think
to
about. I'm
Cup.
going to be completely honest.
I think Corey Heim goes to Cup.
That team is going to be so good whenever Hamlin's retired and he's like full in focus on it.
Yeah, it's going to be a really really good team.
That team is going to be dangerous.
Trackhouse, I don't know if they're only getting one charter. You've got two seats or two drivers wanting a seat. You
They're
have
going to give it to God, I forgot the kid's name, man. The kid that's
Zane,
not from here.
Shane Van
No,
Gisbergen,
no, 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 no. It's a young kid.
Zane Smith.
No, Connor Mozak is his name.
You think Connor Mozak's going to go to Cup?
Not straight to Cup, but if they were to get like another charter, that would like it's. I don't know if it's Connor Mozak, but it's a kid and it's like their young development driver, and he drives our now.
Yeah, but are you saying if they got two charters that it's going to be jump from ARCA to Cup?
Well, I'm just saying if they bought a charter, it would be they would have a spot reserved for that kid for sure.
I mean, yeah, eventually. I would agree, but if they got two now, it's going to be Zane and Shane. Because you know Shane didn't come to the United States to race Xfinity full time.
Yeah, obviously they're still getting him ready for Cup.
Yeah. So yeah, those are the rumors that it's going to be Trackhouse and 2311. So it's going to be interesting to watch, see where these guys go, because I don't know. It's definitely silly season. But yeah. Anything else that you'd like to cover quick before we wrap things up tonight?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. How about yourself?
I think I've said just about everything I need to say. Any
Well,
predictions?
I guess that's it then.
Any predictions for Essex? Any predictions for NASCAR? Anything that
Braden Koryoff will DNF. I'm going to DNF at Michigan, then I'm going to come back and win every single race. Well,
Sorry, I choked. I choked, and now I can't talk. So I guess we'll end it here.
Wait, what?
I guess we'll end it here because I seem to be losing my voice. But yeah, it's gonna be a really good season for Essex. We'll get you updated next week on Velocity. I think we're gonna be shooting to start that up next week. So yeah, Michigan is the debut for Essex, so we're gonna kick things off there. Obviously, Braden thinks that he's gonna win, so we'll see what happens.
Everything's just falling apart right now.
Everything's falling apart. So,
Everything's falling apart.
do you want to take us out?
Yeah, we'll see you next week after the opener. We'll have stuff to talk about. We'll jerk each other off. We'll touch each other wieners.
Okay, so that's gonna be it tonight.
Men's basketball podcast. Wait, I said it wrong. Basketball podcast. It. Christmas race. You. We're gangster out here.
All right, so you heard it here first, guys. That's gonna be it. Thank you guys for listening. Congratulations to all of our award winners, and we'll see you guys next week, and we'll see you at Michigan.